So brew day, here's all the equipment in here that we're going to need. We've got the mill up the top, we've got our vessels for each stage, and then that's the mash tun in that box. And then down here we have some kegging equipment, and behind there we have the fermentation vessel. There's the grains in there in a sealed container, and there's the bottles for the end of the process. And this is where you'll be living, on the tripod. First steps to weigh out our grains, we need to get them in a box. So first thing we've got to do is put our bowl on the scale. There we go. And then tear it. And now we need to weigh out the required amount. Then we chuck it in here and we go again. Give it a taste. Make sure the chlorine's out. Then we need to take the pot and heat it up. We plug the pot in. And now the heat element should begin to heat up. About 40 degrees Celsius, so now it's time to add in the brewing salt. Now it's time to mill the grains. And hand crank it. And that is what it looks like after we've milled it. Nice fine powder. Nothing left in the hopper. Got off our mash tun, put on the connections with the tri-clamps. And then there's the inside of it. So we're going to put in the water once it's heated up. The water we need is now up to temperature, so it's time to put it in the mash tun. So here we go. We've got our water. Time to add the grains. There we go. And as we add the grains, want to make sure it mixes well. 64, 65 degrees, that's ideally what we're looking for, so we're spot on there. Need to collect the mash water. There we go, we've got it plugged in again. Heating up. We've got brown, that's good. Means it's converted to sugar. So when I open this, and definitely open. Let's open her up. There we go. Now we'll turn the pump on. There we go, pump's on. So what it looks like is the water comes in through the pump and in to the top. So that's on too fast, so we're going to slow it down a little bit. Let's just slow pump it a little bit. There we go. Good enough flow rate. We'll leave it running like that with the lid on, so it gets a nice even temperature.
it's time to bring the mash water over. So what's happening is the water from that, which is 76 degrees, is coming into the pump, getting pumped into there, dribbling on top, and then out at the bottom we're collecting the water in the kettle before we boil it. So we're finished with the water collection because we've got a whole bunch of greens in there now, but they look okay. And then I've done the refractometer reading and I'm getting a 1033. There we go, I've turned the kettle on and we're boiling away, so we're going to weigh out our hops first. First what we're going to do is weigh out our aroma hops, so this should be roughly 25 grams. Might be a wee bit over, but screw it, that'll do it. And then we also have our bittering hops. Let me just double check. 45 grams, so that'll do. While we've got the kettle boiling, I'm just going to scoop out all this grain and drain whatever's left of the water. But something cool you can have a look at is this. Right there. That's the leftover grain. You can see it all layering into different layers, so it's good we never collected that in the kettle. While I'm waiting on this to boil, we'll keep an eye on it because you'll see all the protein beginning to form at the top. We're getting to the point of a boil almost. There's all the protein. So this is the point in which we add the bittering hops. There we go. They're all added. Just in time for the rain starting as well, but we're setting an alarm for 1 hour now. So we're getting towards the end of our boil. So what we want to do is effectively a finings agent. It's a protoflop granule. And we'll just drop it on in. So it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to dissolve, and that helps clear up the final beer. And we're also going to add in our immersion chiller. This is to help sterilise it before we actually need to use it. Add it in while we're still boiling, so it's not going to cause any infections to the beer. So we'll just set it in the kettle like so, while it's sterilised. And there's a protoflop granule in there. We're going to give it a little mix as well. We're going to just take one last gravity reading before we fully seal it up and begin to cool it down. So we're aiming for a 1.044, and I believe I did check earlier, so we were pretty much where we wanted to be. 0.044 we should be, yeah. Pretty much spot on, so we're going to call it at that. Turn the kettle off. Right, it's time for me to get the kettle and begin to cool it down. And what we can also do is be a bit more sustainable and use the water we collect as detergent water. That should cover us for all the sanitisation. And we're going to shrink wrap around the kettle to keep all the thingy in as well once we add the hops. Right, we're under 80 degrees Celsius, so we're going to add the hops in now. Just chuck it in. Get the aroma. This is a pain in the arse, but we're going to clean it all around it. Well, we've got it chilling down in the background, we're going to clean the fermentation method using the detergent. We've cleaned all the parts, just in case it needs a good rinse out with detergent. Alright. What we're going to do is just make sure everything's being sanitised that we're going to use and need, which does include an air pump. This tubing that's been sitting in the sanitizer, and transfer the beer from the kettle into the fermenter. And we're going to use gravity to help us. Hence why it's above us. There we go. And it goes in. Then what we're going to do is oxygenate the water with this stone sitting in the detergent. So we're going to remove the lid and stick it in. We're going to turn on the power and we're going to leave it for a good 5-10 minutes. There we go. Power's on. Yep, and there's the oxygen going into the water, bubbling away. We'll leave that for 10 minutes. Now we're giving it 10 minutes of aeration, so we're going to turn the pump off and unplug it. So we're going to remove it and stick the fermenter in the fridge until it comes down to temperature where we'll pitch the yeast. We've got it down at 25 degrees now, so we're going to pitch the yeast and I'll leave it to ferment. And it should aim for 16 degrees.